It does, you know. It does. They didn't. If it had been any other type of artist doing the same thing that I was doing, I'm sure that it'd have been
Just slap on the wrist.
a different response. If Puffy had decided to do that, he might not have got shut down at all. If it was anyone that was a part of that commercial, glamorous pantheon. And many of them who I like, but if I was a part of that actively, it would have been, you know.
Do you think it was abjectly political? Do you think that if you'd have been singing, you know, another one of your songs, it would have happened?
I'm not sure. I think it's ironic that I was singing one of my more political songs, if not my most political song, and that happened. Had it been something different at a pop experience, that we had dancers or something, I think that they would have just, and they may have shut it down, but they may have enjoyed the spectacle a little more. There was something in the energy of the song that instinctively forced a response, which I was really, really fascinated by that. I was like, these, you know, a lot of those people out there, they're not even that politically aware to say, oh, this is a political threat, or this is critical of the state, or critical of state policy. It's just that somewhere in them, the superiors, the guys with the white shirts on, knew that that's not proper. And furthermore, there's another irony is that there's a heightened police presence around that awards ceremony because there's a large black nominee base. And that a lot of it comes from hip hop. So the police presence has been amped up because there may be some incident of violence. So the atmosphere has already been cultivated months before the awards show even arrives. We're gonna have increased police presence.
Gonna make it tense.
We got because, and that type of posture often brings something that might never have happened to the fore. So it was just really, really, really interesting. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you know, it's not bad to have that. Not that I did it for that, but I certainly don't mind, you know, being arrested for.
Well, it gets it out in a way, you know.
Yeah.
We're sitting there talking about it.
Yeah, you know, and people they don't forget about those people who have been forgotten enough already.
So do you feel? I mean, I don't know. I mean, in your line of work, do you think there is a lot of pressure to sort of self-censor?
Cult of personality.
Sure.
And they say if we can control these if we can pick the personalities that people will respond to, or we can cultivate these personalities, then we can stay in control of the machine. It went from them being able to successfully do that to somewhere along that line, artists or talented people and the machinery saying, we don't even have to cultivate personalities anymore. We can cultivate personas. So it went from culture to the cult of personality to the cult of persona. To get people to believe that so-and-so is this. To get spokespeople or representatives for a lifestyle or an idea that they may not even subscribe to themselves. They can sell it though. They can make it appealing to a mass of people. And there are great rewards for agreeing to do that. You know, it's gone from being, this is my art that reflects, this is my work that reflects my history, my personal life, my struggles, my ambitions, my dreams, to this is my persona as it is attached to a product or a lifestyle or something that you can buy.
Too intertwined, many of them.
And there
Loads of products.
There are lots of, they reward you for it. Completely. If you just say, it has nothing to do with me, I'm just a model.
It's like Cribs.
I put on the clothes, I stand in the pose, they pay me a check.
So what effect does that have on the community?
Oh my God, if there's no voice of dissent, if there's no imagination, not even, let's just leave dissent alone. If there's no earnestness, if there's no truth in what artists, the talented people do, if it's all about the gesture, then it's telling people there's no room for your imagination. There's no use being imaginative. Follow the rules.
And what about the individual in terms of the collective?
It's not about that. It's about conforming. And if you see someone who is a creative person doing that, then what energy might you have to criticize your local government, or your state government, or to just have any sort of opinion about what's going on around you in the world, to say, to use your common sense to say, well, that may be a prevailing practice, but that doesn't mean that it's useful or necessary. If you see people who are supposed to be imaginative people, creative people, not being that, I think that the long-term effect is that the masses in general just find themselves being less creative, less imaginative, and creativity and imagination are integral in creating change in the world. I mean, you know, you need that spark.
Yeah.
If he could do that, then I could do.
So you know, back to the rest. Do you think MTV and hip hop are kind of cut a deal then? Because you were wondering about that, maybe. I mean, has it got to the stage where actually?
Yeah, I mean, is it organized?
The corporations have successfully bribed many charismatic personalities and figures with money and flattery. And a lot of times it's not even with money. What they're really bribing them with is a perception of social access. You are invited into an exclusive club. You get to sit in the velveteen chair. And for some people, there's a very intoxicating proposal, because especially if you come from an ignored or marginalized part of the world, and now somebody's treating you like this rare and precious thing. Now the fine print of that is like, it's better to be, and this is a quote from an article about Josephine Baker that I read, it is better to be treated like a rare and precious thing as opposed to a horrible, ugly one. But it's still to be treated like a thing. There's no real human temperature in that. It's, oh, you're so exotic, but you're a caricature. You're a beautiful caricature, but you're not a human.
You're commodified.
Yeah, you're not a human being. And it's just that kind of, hip-hop will find its center again. At the moment, a lot of its biggest names and most charismatic personalities are dizzy and disoriented off of success and what they perceive to be mainstream approval and acceptance. Which, the irony is that the culture came into prominence without any of that.
Yeah.
Almost
came anti that.
Rejecting that. Like, we don't care what you think, it doesn't matter. It's like I was watching this thing on Andy Warhol. The great thing about, another great quote is that he said that Andy realized that you couldn't lead people from the front, that you had to go to the edge and say, this is the center.
Yeah.
and the people will find their way to the new center.
Yeah.
And that's what hip hop said. It's like, even past that, it was like, this is the edge, and this is the center for us. And we don't care about the center. This is our center. And then people started gravitating toward that center.